There are areas of science so complex, researchers can be overwhelmed with data. Uncovering how protein interactions are linked to cancer, shedding light on mysterious dark matter, or understanding the shifting dynamics of seismic waves. For 20 years, Lawrence Livermore National Laboratory's Computing Grand Challenge program has awarded unclassified computing resources to research teams with high-impact projects. The program encourages groundbreaking science that is only possible with the laboratory's supercomputers.
The Computing Grand Challenge program is a program for Livermore researchers and their collaborators. One of the unique things about this program is it's the only program I'm aware of at this scale that is purely for the institution. We have projects in areas like astrophysics, understanding how stars explode. We have projects in Earth systems modeling, understanding the Earth and how it's changing over time. We have projects also looking at material science, designing new materials. In biophysics, understanding and designing new drugs for the human population, as well as a breadth of other disciplines. So just in this year, we've increased the amount of compute that they have by a factor of 10. This additional computational power that they will have will enable them to solve problems at a resolution that they've never been able to solve before, to solve more problems than they have in the past, and to add new physics and new numerical models.
So the two proteins that we've been looking at are RAS and RAF. And RAS is one of the most crucial proteins involved in the early stages of cancer. It's a trigger that tells the cell to grow and divide. And in a normal, healthy cell, it's switched on, the cell grows and divides, and then it switches off again. But when it gets mutated in cancers, and RAS is mutated in about 1/3 of all cancers, the switch gets stuck on. And the first protein that RAS controls, one of those proteins is called RAF. So it's the first downstream step of this signal that's telling the cells to grow and divide. And the process by which RAF gets activated and turned on by RAS, there's still lots of questions to be answered regarding how this protein activates. So our project has been trying to look at this process and the mechanism by which RAF is activated by RAS and the molecular rearrangements that take place. To try and answer these questions, we developed this platform, this capability called MUMI, which stands for Multi-Scale Machine Learned Modeling Infrastructure. It can use machine learning to try and take the human out of the loop. It's almost like a precursor to these AI agentic models where the algorithms and the machine learning will make the decisions for us about what are the most interesting areas to look at, and it will automatically set up, run, and analyze thousands of simulations, which was really non-feasible to do by hand, each person setting up one at a time. But then because it can set up thousands of these simulations at a time, suddenly the human input wasn't the bottleneck, it was the resources. We could just run as many simulations as we had CPUs or GPUs available, which is where the Grand Challenge was massively important, because we just couldn't fulfill the need for the number of simulations that we would need to do otherwise. We will run a large-scale simulation, and some of the machine learning will select regions of that simulation to zoom in, and then we'll switch to our higher resolution approach to look at those regions in more detail. So for the first time, we've been able to observe the pathway and the mechanism by which this protein gets activated and starts to unfold. We can generate so much data, and with the help of machine learning, we can refine that data or analyze that data to kind of learn the next stage and the next step that we can look at in the future.
Dark matter is a substance that permeates the universe, and it's about 5 times more in quantity than regular matter. And that is a mystery because you cannot detect it. It's some substance that's all around us, but you cannot detect it. But the fact that it's just 5 times more and not 1,000,000 times more or 100 times more, the fact that it's similar in magnitude to the regular matter, it makes us believe, it makes us think that dark matter is of similar origin as regular matter. And therefore, the theory of dark matter may be similar to the theory of matter. And we developed this theory, checked that it's consistent with all experiments today, with all the requirements that we know. And now we want to calculate things to tell experimentalists where to look at. And central to these calculations is supercomputers, which you have access to because of Grand Challenge. These are the fastest supercomputers in the world. So the lattice, being a discrete set of points, can be mapped directly on a supercomputer, on a parallel supercomputer. We used to map it on the nodes. As the nodes became more powerful, we started mapping chunks of the lattice in one node. At some point, the computers became so fast that we were able to put more and more of the lattice on just a small group of nodes. Today, with the Toulomni and El Capitan, the speed of the nodes is so extremely high that you can put the whole lattice in just about 8 nodes. None of that would have been possible without the Grand Challenge. So I want to believe that we went from 0 visibility when I looked in 2007 to everybody knowing about elementary particle theory at Livermore today. And that only happened because of Grand Challenge. If it was not for the Grand Challenge, it wouldn't have happened, because our science is based on computation.
The seismology group here at the Lawrence Livermore National Lab has been working for decades to detect, locate, and measure the yield of the nuclear explosions, but also other seismic events using available data. But over the years, we have been working closely with the Supercomputing Center here at the lab to actually develop methodologies that can improve our detection capabilities. And what we're after with these experiments, let's call them numerical experiments that are developed here, is to understand what are the typical signatures that are related to any seismic source that we observe. And we're talking about, let's say, underground nuclear explosions, chemical explosions, mine explosions, but also small earthquakes, volcanoes, and other type of seismic sources. The large earthquakes, which are most important for seismic hazard assessment in this country, they don't happen every day. Even when they happen, there is very little information about the source process, but also the recording stations are very sparse. So you want to complement that information by using simulations that are constrained by recorded data of past earthquakes. And so here at the lab, in collaboration also with other labs in the country, we have developed this platform that uses our best code. And so knowing the physics and understanding what are expected differences based on the physics between these very similar seismic events in size, and using simulation, you can understand how to apply those for discrimination. And this is the current level of science, that we're looking after very, very small seismic events. We record those events, we analyze them, we simulate them, and then we use parameters of the source itself and their environment to understand how they play around. And the goal is to improve our capability to detect those, not just explain those. So that's where the Computing Grand Challenge has been helping us, in the sense that we could do a lot of simulations, very broadband, to make sense of what we're observing in our experiments. Ultimately, we want to make sure that the engineers take advantage of these capabilities so that they can use this ground motion to build safer buildings, power plants, bridges, or everything like that.
Historically, the Computing Grand Challenge has been focused on modeling and simulation. That won't change as we look ahead. But what is going to change is we're embracing new technologies, new methodologies, things like artificial intelligence. We're understanding with AI techniques how to make better use of these resources so that we enable even more science in the future. Grand Challenges is all about solving the problems that haven't been solved before, which is really what the laboratory was built for. We're here to solve problems that face the nation, that face the world.
For more information on the Computing Grand Challenge, visit Science and Technology Review.